Oh, no, we're there. Now we're there. Bit of rubber fingers there. I'm sorry about that. How are we all doing? It's been cold today, isn't it? I have been frozen. Good grief. We should be hardened to it up here, really. I think we're fairly used to it, I would have thought. But honestly, at Manchester's excelled itself because we now have our own variant. Not sure I'm proud of that, really, but apparently so. So, what have we got for this evening? So, I haven't got any news to tell. Well, again, some miracles have happened on the technical side. I think I seem to remember saying not last week, the week before, that I'd sorted out the problem of the striations on the screen, and it's a bit odd because I thought it was due to the lighting in the room, but as you can see, it's not entirely stable, which is a little bit puzzling. It's one of those miracles. I remember they used to say it's the way you hold your mouth. That's what causes everything to go wrong. So before I introduce my guest for this evening, whilst Rosie is getting herself comfortable at the other end, I can see her feverishly typing away there, making sure that we are broadcasting to the world. This is a song I wrote a few years ago, and it was inspired by Leon Redbone, who I was a big fan of, and he was an eccentric singer, performer, guitar player, very, very good guitar player, very sort of precise finger picker, but always with a good swing to it. So, he used to sing a lot of traditional songs, and he'd do sort of old bluesy stuff from the 20s. Also some of those sort of like slightly risque blues songs from that era, and also things like Up a Lazy River and all those sort of stuff, and very melodic, very entertaining. I'd never saw him live, unfortunately. It's one of my big regrets. But so whilst I was listening to a lot of that, I wrote this, which is called Am I Feeling Blue? It's early in the morning, the sun is already hot. There's fresh food in the kitchen, the coffee pot is hot. So why am I feeling blue? No clouds on the horizon, I got money in the bank. My car is sitting pretty, and there's gasoline in the tank. So why am I feeling blue? My baby's gone and left me, not for another man. She says she wants to travel, she does not give a damn. She told me this morning, I said, I don't know what to say. She said, say what you want, honey, I'm gonna leave you anyway. So I leave the food in the kitchen, the coffee in the pot. I will take off in my Cadillac, 'cause believe it or not, my baby's gone cold on me, but a sister has not. There's big fish in the river, there's grapes upon the vine. Last night we had a party, I had a real good time. So why am I feeling blue? My baby's gone and left me, not for another man. She says she wants to travel. She does not give a damn. She told me this morning, I said, I don't know what to say. She said, you can say what you want, my honey, 'cause I'm gonna leave you anyway. So I will leave the food in the kitchen. I leave the coffee in the pot. I take off in my Cadillac, 'cause believe it or not, my baby's gone cold on me, but her sister has not. She has not. My baby's gone cold on me, but her sister has not. There you go, My Feeling Blue. I know I've done this before, and I've probably told this story before as well, but I think it warrants retelling. I did the song in a club in Chorlton a couple of years ago, and Leslie was with me as usual. And when I finished the song, I went on to sing another song, and somebody came up to her and said, "Do you approve of that sort of thing?" And Leslie said, "Well, what do you mean? Running off with a sister?" And Leslie said, "Well, it's just a song." And this woman was quite affronted. And of course, Leslie doesn't have a sister. But on the other hand, it would have been quite good if she'd have actually just said, "I am the sister." I think that would have been, nice. But I still can't get over the fact that somebody was affronted by it. It's a song, for God's sake. Anyway, talking of songs, over to my guest for this evening, Ms. Rosie Arnfield. Hi, Rosie.
Good evening, Rowland.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Well, thanks for inviting us into your bedroom.
Yeah, it's the only room in the house that isn't filled with children and noise.
or recorders.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, Rosie Arnfield and songwriting. When did you start playing the piano? Did you start on piano or did you start on guitar?
Well, I've always played the piano since I was little. I started on the organ, actually.
Oh, did you?
I had to do the foot pedals as well. And I had this very
wow.
strict Scottish teacher who lived around the corner. And I was scared of her.
That's quite interesting, that, because I remember I actually started off on piano as well. My father was an organist, and he wanted me to have piano lessons, and I didn't really enjoy it. And my first music teacher had a nervous breakdown. Now, I'm not saying that I was responsible entirely, but they were strict. When I was a kid, it was like, do your scales or get slapped. If your hands were too high, they'd smack you with a ruler and that sort of stuff. Was that what you went through?
No physical abuse, no, but it was a case of if you hadn't practiced, that there would be a stern face and a very disappointed shake of the head. And so, if you didn't practice, they would know. You couldn't just blag it on your lesson.
No. And Scottish people do stern, don't they? They've got a grasp on the concept of stern.
Yeah.
So you started on the organ.
The other
thing and then you went on to the piano. Go on.
Yeah, so then I moved to a nice old lady teacher and had to play the piano, and I worked my way through the grades, just as a child, and I think I got to grade 7 by the time I was 18.
Oh, that's impressive.
And I've never done the 8th grade because that was when I went to university and then had no money for lessons. So I will do it one day. I will do it. So, I mean, I always just played other people's music. I played other people's songs, and it wasn't until let me think, probably 7 years ago now, where I started writing my own songs. And it wasn't until I moved to Glossop, which is where I am now, that I found any kind of inspiration to write anything. But since I've lived here, it's easy.
Well, you did say to me the other day that Glossop is a fount of a lot of songwriting knowledge, apparently.
It is. It's just it has a fantastic music scene, when we're not in lockdown, and everyone kind of encourages each other and inspires each other to write songs. There's loads of open mics, and just loads of, all the pubs have got their own little open mic night. You can go here on a Monday, here on a Tuesday, and they often offer like free sandwiches or free drinks. So if you sing, so that kind of got me into it, just the social side, and then it just built from there. I mean, I had to learn the guitar to go to these sessions, so I'd never played the guitar. So I just picked that up at the same time, 8 years ago or so, and just started playing that very badly to begin with. I tuned it to Dadgad and joined in with like the Irish sessions because it was just 3 chords. So I'd just be doing that, and then I started writing songs in these 3 chords. And then, just kind of, I mean, I'll never be as good at guitar as I am at piano. It takes some serious practice, and if I don't practice for a few weeks, my fingers go soft and then it hurts too much to play. So I do love my piano, but I try and just keep the guitar going just because it's a bit more versatile and easier to carry.
It's interesting you say about the 3 chords. I remember listening to an interview once some years ago with I can't think, Mike Chapman, Chinny Chap they were called. There were 2 guys, Nicky Chin and Mike Chapman, who were songwriters in the early 70s, and they wrote all the hits for a lot of the sort of pop bands at the time. And they were talking about how the balance was between the 2 of them, and whichever one it was played the guitar. He said, "Oh yeah, I'm the musician." And the other one kind of laughed, and he said, "Well, when he says he's a musician, he can play 3 chords," and that was it.
It's all you need.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, you got a 1 and a 4 and a 5, and that's it. That's all you need, really. So you can write a song on that, and lots of people do very successfully. So, okay, do you want to start off your performance with a song, something with an interesting story?
So this is the first song I ever wrote for piano.
Oh, brilliant.
So I wrote it on the aeroplane home from a holiday. We went road tripping around America, and just happened to be there at the same time as the total solar eclipse. I think it was maybe 5 years ago. We were in Portland. We went to a place called what was it called? Satan? I can't remember. I think it was some demonic place name. Anyway, and Salem. That was it. Salem, not Satan. But so we were there just we didn't even know it was going to happen, and it was this huge event, and it was the most incredible thing I've ever seen, sort of nature wise. It just was very powerful, and that was the first thing that moved me so much that I felt I should write a song about this. It's like, I don't have any tattoos. I've always wanted tattoos, and I always ask people, what was it that made you think I really, really, want that on me for the rest of my life? Well, this was the songwriting equivalent. It was like, that's done it. That I can get a song out of that. I know I can. So I wrote the words on the way home on the airplane at night when everyone's sleeping and it's all dark, and got home and I didn't even unpack my bags. I just went straight to the piano and wrote this song.
Excellent.
So there's not all the stories are as interesting as that one, but so I call this song The Path of Totality, because that's what it's called when you're in the path of totality. So it's like a strip that will go across the world map, where you get, if you're in the path of totality, you get that 100% cover of the moon and of the sun with the moon.
Sun,
and at that point, it's completely different to just a regular partial eclipse where you know it's still light. This went totally dark, and you could see the solar flares of the sun rippling around the edge of the moon. It was just totally bizarre. You didn't even need the goggles, the welding goggles. You didn't even need them to look at it. You could just look at it with your eyes, and so I called it The Path of Totality.
Excellent.
So
let's hear it.
all at once the birds stopped singing. I could sense a new beginning. Over hills of purple heather, draw the poison from my ether. And all at once the sky stopped spinning. I could feel that I was winning. Cried for heartache as it passes, and run my fingers through dewdrop grasses. And this could be my last song for you, if I will it too. See the moon as it canvases a burning circle of everlasting. Feel the cold chill of darkness as it depletes you of your sadness. And see the sunrise all around you as crescents flicker in the shadows. Let the warmth come back to greet you like nothing ever really happened. Save the sunprint you left on my heart, on my heart. Ooh, on my heart. And this could be my last song for you, for you, if I will it too, if I will it too. There we go.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. It's lovely to see you play piano, because there is a tendency. A lot of the people I come across these days who play piano have either, like me, been lapsed piano players and have come back to it after playing guitar for years. And we play in a different way. You play it properly. You know, you've got all these expansive arpeggios and things, whereas we go chunk. You know,
that's funny.
It's the sort of Phil Collins school of playing piano. You know?
That's funny, because I've been told that I play the guitar like a piano as well.
Oh,
so,
right.
Yeah, it works the other way.
Excellent. Yeah, I was just thinking about your comment before about always wanting a tattoo. It's one of those things that I've never ever wanted, because I haven't. The thing is, and I think it's to do with age, you see, because I was thinking to myself, well, look, if you're going to have something done and it's going to be permanent, if be like me, still wearing now what I was wearing 40 years ago. So you'd have me sitting here now in a pair of loon pants and a purple sleeveless vest, which would not be a pretty sight, you know. So, you know, be warned, I think.
I'm just waiting for that moment to arrive when something so significant happens that I want to, you know, draw it on myself forever. But it's not there. I know it will come.
Yeah, there is the apocryphal story, isn't there, about the guy who goes for he's a City fan. I will say, for a sake of argument, he's a City fan, and he goes, and the the tattooist gets bribed by one of his mates to do a tattoo with United on his back instead of City.
Oh no!
But he does it with a washable tattoo. So I can't remember how the story goes, but there you go. So, okay, that's brilliant. That's lovely. I love that song. So you played a bit of that during the sound check the other day, which I really liked.
I did, but not all of it. I just gave you the
You just gave me the taster.
first bit, yeah. But
Leave
it's
them wanting more.
the last gig I had before lockdown. It was January, and it was at the Globe in Glossop.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And I played it. I had a celloist, and a double bassist, and I'd written the parts for them individually. Never written parts for cello before. It's not even the treble or the bass clef. It's some kind of alto middle clef that
It's
I'd
one that's
never.
got an arrow in the middle, isn't it?
I
Looks
know I'd never
like
come
that.
across it before. I'm
Yeah.
like, how do I work? How do I write for that? Anyway, I did it. So I'd practice with her. And I'd practice with him, the bassist, and I'd never had all three of us in the same room at the same time. We're all mums and dads, and we just couldn't, there wasn't enough time. I wasn't paying them enough, or I don't know, for all these rehearsals.
All those things.
So so we played it, and on the night, it was the first time I'd heard all three instruments together playing that song. It had this, just the cello just sounded wonderful, and I was on the stage like hearing it for the first time, really overwhelmed, trying to perform a song, just being like, you guys sound amazing. Oh, it was so lovely. I can't wait till I can
but
see other people.
Got such a lovely that's true. The sound of the cello is wonderful. It's got a really
it is.
It's not as screechy as a violin, and it's got
no. It's a really strong vibrato as well. It's just it's just my favorite. And my son's actually learning to play the cello at the moment. He just did his grade 1.
No influence there.
No, well, I said this could be useful when you're older and get good at it. A free cellist, but he did his grade 1, but because it was during COVID, I was his pianist in his exam,
right.
and if it seems to me like. So it's ABRSM, isn't it? The Associated Board Royal School of Music or something. The easier the cello pieces, so grade 1, the harder the piano pieces. So I had to learn these like grade 8 pieces to play along to his cello. So I had to practice more than he did for this exam, just so I wouldn't let him down. There's so much pressure. I was terrified, and I had to play it on this grand piano, but he got a distinction in the end, so it was all right.
I was going to say, the last thing you really need during COVID is some more stress, really, isn't it?
I know. But we had to do it. And the next time, maybe we'll pay for a pianist to go, because it's when it's your own son, it's really hard.
I can imagine. Yeah. Okay, so songs then. How do you? I mean, you said you wrote the lyrics to that on the plane. Clearly didn't have a piano to hand. Do you normally work like that, or do you not have a normal?
I don't have a normal, but usually 9 times out of 10, I'll start with the chords. I'll just be playing around with my piano, and I'll find a lovely chord sequence or a little riff that has a really nice atmosphere kind of thing. It makes it's almost like I'm trying to paint a picture with music. If I'm making a song, every song has I want to say a music video to go with it in my head. It has a story, it has a scene, it has, it has a picture to go with it. So I try and create that atmosphere of the song first. And then when I've got all the notes and a good chord, that's when I start to weave words in that will match that story. And sometimes I'll borrow things, like if I've read a book, or if I've seen a few like quotes or a nice poem or something. So my songs are often a collage of things that have inspired me, this lovely chord sequence I've found, and then a little bit of my own personal experience or memories or whatever. So usually my songs are a collage, but sometimes I'll have an idea and it'll take 10 minutes to write, and the lyrics will just flow and it'll just come out. But that doesn't happen very often. But that song I just played was one of those. So.
Well, I suppose the other thing is you're sitting on a plane, and it's going to be ticking over in your head, isn't it? And that sounds like quite a startling experience. Yeah, that's sounds quite interesting. That. So you don't. You're not one of these disciplined writers who says, right, I'm going to write a song today, and I'm going to write a song tomorrow.
No.
Do you know Ben Williams?
Nope.
Well, Ben is a great writer on the Manchester open mic scene, and at the beginning of the lockdown, he did a month of a song per day. He wrote and recorded a song every day for the first month, and they're great songs. He's a great writer, Ben. Although I noticed that after he'd done that, for the next couple of weeks, he played a few songs, but mainly other people's material. So I think he'd sort of
You
overcooked
forget them
himself.
maybe. Or
Well,
yeah.
yeah. It's quite difficult. I mean, you're saying you've not done a gig since January. I've not done apart from stuff online, which is not the same.
Last January, yep.
Yeah, exactly. I've not done anything since last March, and I do find that I don't feel match fit at the moment at all.
Mm.
It's a bit.
No, I've been going through my old playlists, and I'm like, I've forgotten some of the songs,
Yeah.
and I can't remember the chords, even songs I've written. And so I'm going through recordings. Thank goodness, I have, even if it's just a rough phone recording, I have something of every song, and I'm listening to it, trying to work out what the chords were. Because usually, you just go by feel. It's muscle memory, but the
Yeah.
muscle memory for some songs had worn off, and I started panicking and trying to rework them out again. And I don't want to lose these
Yeah.
songs. But yeah, it's just being out of practice. I try and play, 2 or 3 times a week. But there's
You've
no
got a few other
incentive
things
like
to do.
yeah, I know, full-time job and homeschooling children at the
Yeah.
same time. It's not fun, but I have to come to my piano. That's, my happy place, and
Mm.
it's
When
where
you've,
I
I
go
mean,
to cheer
I don't
myself
know.
up.
I don't know how much material you've recorded. When do you tend to have how many CDs have you done? You've done a couple, haven't you?
0.
I
No,
thought you'd done a
0
couple.
CDs. I have some YouTube videos. So I have 2 lovely produced music videos that,
Right.
I put a lot of energy into.
Mm.
But I just started recording an album last November before lockdown. So I'd found the perfect producer.
Mm.
He, his sound that he makes is everything that I wanted. He totally
Mm.
gets what I was trying to achieve.
Mm.
And we recorded sort of, we got the vocals and the piano in and the harmonies and a few synth strings and stuff like that. We had all of that in. So it was like, I don't know, I'd say 60% finished of 4 or 5 songs. And it was just sounding amazing. I was so excited. I was going to get my cellist in and,
Mm.
get
Mm.
guitarists in and really make them really proper, and have this proper album that I, would have for the rest of my life. And I'm thinking, if I can just make one album, I will be happy. And if more albums come, then that's great. But yeah, because of COVID, obviously I'm not gone to the recording studio. I've not
Yeah.
done anything like that. It's so I'm just waiting now. But I've
Well,
been writing more songs whilst I've been waiting. So
oh, that's good. I mean, because
yeah.
one of the questions I was going to ask is, because one of the things that intrigues me is how people, some people like to sort of write and then record straight away. I know Stevie Williams is always thinks about it like that. Other people tend to sort of road test the songs a while before they're entirely happy with them. Do you find that when you were gigging regularly, did you find that your songs evolved at all, or did they?
Oh, definitely. You
Yeah.
change the way you sing them, or I'll find just that little extra note that just changes the whole vibe of it. Often, yeah, they will change. I heard Joni Mitchell,
Yeah,
A
not
Case of
personally.
You. Uh,
Right.
so everyone knows A Case of You, and then someone lent me a really old CD of her doing like a radio show with this other guy. And the words were completely different to the song
Yeah.
that we know, and it made me think, that makes me feel so much better. You
Yeah.
can have a song that's a year old, and it's not too late to change the lyrics if you want to. So I really like that. So I still do go back. Sometimes there'll be that one line in a song that makes you cringe at yourself. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, it's a bit too cheesy, or it's a bit
Yeah.
too dark.
Yeah.
And it's never too late to change that. But yeah, I mean, when I'm choosing songs for this album, I did have 10 songs chosen. But since then, I've written all these other ones that might bump off, my least favorite ones. Or I could just do them in the order in which I wrote them. And then it's like a time kind of thing, and you can see it evolving. So I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, I was just thinking about how things change. There was when we lived in Italy, I recorded some songs out there with the band I had out there, and then we'd been living here for well, it must have been a year. We'd gone back, and I did a gig with the band again, and they said, "Well, you've changed this song." And in that period, I'd come back to the UK and recorded it, and then gigged it a lot, and then I'd taken the bridge out completely, because I decided that really it worked with just the sort of the constant riff going through it. And they were horrified. They said, well, that's the way we did it. And I said, well, it's not that anymore. You know, I'm afraid you have to relearn it. So, okay, back to you. Another song then, I think.
Yeah. It's tricky choosing when you just have 4.
Oh,
So
can I just
this
say,
is a
I've
song.
got a message for a few messages have come through just to say hello. We've got Andy Iveson.
Oh, I know him.
Yeah, it's great to see you both again. I think was it Andy Iveson? Was it his gig that we met at in Timperley?
I think so.
Yeah.
I can't remember where I met you now, Rowland. I think we've sung on the same stage a couple of times.
I think we have, yeah.
Hmm.
And what else have I got? A message from Emma Claire Wales.
Oh, an old school friend.
Oh, right, okay. Message there from Leslie Jones, that'll be my wife. And message from Leanne O'Brien. Love you, Rosie.
Oh, that's a university friend.
Oh, excellent. Yeah. And there's a message from a friend of ours called Elizabeth Fagan saying, lovely watching her fingers riffling across the keyboard.
Rippling.
Riffling. That's a nice word. It says, I never achieved that. There's always time, Elizabeth. There's always time. Mm-hmm. Sorry. Next song. Take it away.
Yeah. So this is my I've got 2 lockdown songs now, you know, inspired by the experience of lockdown and what it does to your state of mind. And this song is called oh my goodness. I'll tell you what it's called afterwards because it's in the name of the song is in the song somewhere. Strange Days. That's it. It's called Strange Days because these are indeed strange days. And I suppose this song is about boredom and being an everyday feeling the same, you know, and it's these strange experiences and these different days and meeting new people and meeting strangers and having all these different interactions that make life fun. Well, for an extrovert anyway. Yes, this song is called Strange Days and it's quite a theatrical song. But it's my first song ever that features a key change.
Oof,
so
you're modulating. Oof,
I don't like key change. You know, as I was growing up, if I wanted a key change, because I always had a keyboard, I'd quickly press the button and then carry on playing it. But I've done it properly this time, so it could go wrong. But I have practiced. We'll be okay. So this is called Strange Days. Gone are the nights of fantastic heights, and gone are my demons that robbed me of reason. Here I have plenty, I'm fine and I'm healthy, yet I'm lying here empty, bored of the sanity. Oh, how I long for strange days, your mysterious ways, for the wind in my wings, for the gold in my dreams, for the stranger I seek. Cocooned in my four walls, reduced to a slow crawl, time going nowhere, even dreaming is a dull affair. I mean to be grateful, kind, never hateful, when to breathe is a blessing, and nature's caressing me. Still I long for strange days, your mysterious ways, for the wind in my wings, for the gold in my dreams, for the stranger I seek out. Still I long for strange days, your mysterious ways, for the wind in my wings, for the gold in my dreams, for the stranger I seek or something like that.
Excellent. Yeah, I see what you mean. It has a sort of theatrical sound to it. You can imagine it in a large auditorium.
Phantom of the Opera, yeah.
with a string section.
That's it. I mean, one of my influences is indeed musical theatre. That's what I used to do. That's what I used to do at school.
Right.
And I used to go to summer schools and all sorts. I do love it. I do love musical theatre, but it's a little bit too much for me. So when I don't want it to sound like it belongs in a musical, but I want it to have that little edge of theatre.
Yeah, it's a funny thing. I mean, I have to say I'm not a lover of musical theatre. I mean, the only musical I really like is West Side Story. But the thing for me is that there are certain types of songs that, for me, when I hear them, I know they're from a musical. You know, it's not a song that stands on its own. It's like, oh, this sounds like a scene in something or other, and that's not necessarily a good thing. You know,
it's like because a song for musical theatre is written to fit a plot line.
Yeah,
it almost kind of, it doesn't have that heartfelt feeling of a songwriter writing a song. It's like,
that's,
well,
that's a good point. Yeah,
it's written to suit the plot. It's got to be like a jigsaw puzzle. It fits into this thing rather than just there's not many songs that are like great as a, I don't know what they have. There are some that are great as a standalone song, but it's lacking the heartfelt feeling. I find, because you don't know who wrote it. It's sort of like
yes, that's also. But is
it's a
it
group
that
thing.
thing? I mean, what you're saying about that it fits into a context. It actually is. It means it doesn't have to be self-contained. So therefore, it's there to suit the plot line, and it's there as part of this, as you say, this sort of linear jigsaw. Whereas a song sort of stands on its own. Talking of which, it's Carole King's birthday today. Talking of great songs.
I have a Carole King song.
Oh,
I've been
right.
working really hard to learn So Far Away.
Oh, So Far Away, yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I've put a little bit of a minor key in it.
Right.
I never like to just straight cover a song. I'm like, I'm just going to add in my own like diminished sevenths and little edges.
The thing about Carole King, I've got there's quite a lot of books on songwriting, and there's one called Songwriters on Songwriting, and there's a big piece in it about Carole King, and the introduction to the interview where the writer basically says, well, there is a Carole King chord, and I can't think what it is now, but it's I can't think what the root note, what she transposes the root note, but it's a chord.
I know what it is.
Go on in. I can't remember.
You carry on talking because I've got it on a piece of music here somewhere.
Right, okay. And it means you only have to play that chord, and whether you play it on I think it's like if you play an A over a B in a bass, something like that, and it just sounds like a Carole King song immediately.
I have a stack here of sheet music. I print off songs, from the internet that I want to learn. And it's just, I never get a chance to glue them all together. So I just have all these random pieces of sheet music all in the wrong order. It's like mixed up songs, and oh dear, no, I'm never going to find
it. Yeah, I'll try and remember what it is before the end of the evening. So yeah, what the way you described it so far, the songs that you write tend to be about very specific situations or specific sort of concepts.
Yeah.
Do you think that's... Where do you think that comes from? Does that come from the musical theatre thing?
I suppose. I mean, like I say, I like for a song to paint a picture. I like for it to have a scene. I like for it to have a story that I can imagine in my head, you know. So, you know, the words all have to fit in with that, and just the you know, it's like it's like painting a picture, but you're painting a song. And for me, the perfect song will transport you somewhere else into a, you know, a different frame of mind, into a different sort of magical kind of land of I don't know.
I like the way you keep punctuating what you're saying with a few chords in the background.
Yeah.
You've got your own narrative going there.
Yeah. That's it. They have a narrative.
What about, go on, do you want to place another song? Another one from the forthcoming album?
Oh, let's do this guitar one. I'll sing you the first song I ever wrote on guitar as well. That ties in with the first song I ever wrote on piano. So I'll just swap over. So this song was written before I even knew any chords. I just picked up the guitar, picked a random guitar from a shop that looked okay, brought it home, and then played about. So it's very simple. And it's called To the Ocean.
Oh, right.
A song that should conjure an image of the sea, I suppose, and the waves, and maybe. So here we go. You were my man, and I was your girl. For a while, this serendipity brought us to life with love and serenity. The same dreams, the same hopes, the same souls in the same boat. But like the river always flows, separated by the paths we chose, I will always look downstream and row to the ocean, down where all the water flows. Half a man, half a girl, floating to the ends of the world, searching, yearning, wondering when this journey ends. The same dreams, the same hopes, the same souls in the same boat. But like the river always flows, separated by the paths we chose, I will always look downstream and row to the ocean, down where all the water flows. To the ocean, to the ocean. That's where you'll find me. Oh, that's where you'll find me. Oh, find me where the water flows. Half a man, half a girl, floating to the ends of the world.
Great.
There we go.
I can see what somebody meant when they said that you play the guitar like a piano.
Well, like I say, that was before I'd even learnt a chord, so I just tried to play it and work out the notes as if I would on a piano. So, because chords, chords hurt when you're first learning. They really hurt. It never hurts to play the piano. It's not fair.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, unless your teacher whacks you with a ruler, then in which case it does. I know my brother gave up piano lessons because he had small hands and she used to stretch his hands, which is not just bad; it's barbaric, frankly. What about the lyrics then? I mean, do you what's the favorite lyric you've ever written? What's the best couplet you've ever come up with and thought, oh, I like that?
Oh my goodness!
And don't be modest.
It's probably from a song I have called "Fairy Feet." Oh, it goes. So it goes. We're like two roses that never bloomed. Feels like the sun has given up on you. And then it goes, as the autumn turns trees into silhouettes beckoning me, your shadow's getting longer, my mind is a breeze. So I love that because that's a very strong image. It's autumn and the sun's setting and the shadows are getting long, So that's probably my favorite lyric.
It's interesting what lyrics convey and what songs convey and what chords convey. I mean, like in that instance, the autumn, and then the first thing that was going through my mind was Autumn Leaves, classic jazz standard. But there's some things. I mean, are some of these things almost universal? I mean, there are two songs, for example, in 1966 or 67, Fleetwood Mac recorded Albatross, massive, huge instrumental hit. And just a few years earlier than that, a very successful American jazz guitar player called Barney Kessel recorded an album called Soaring. And the album sleeve was a seagull on it, strangely enough. And on this album, there is a track called Soaring. Now, I'm not implying on any stretch of the imagination that one was copied from the other. But the fact of the matter is that they're both based around the same minor chord, the way the chord is voiced. And it's interesting that they both ended up imagining something to do with, with seabirds and that whole idea of soaring. So maybe there are certain things that are, universal.
Well, there's nothing that is. I doubt there's very much, or if anything, that has ever happened to someone that hasn't been sung about in a song. You can listen to the most obscure song, or I could write the most obscure song and think, no one's going to relate to this. No one's going to know what I'm singing about. And afterwards, I'll have someone come up to me and say, Rosie, that song meant so much to me. It was the right song at the right time in my life. It was like, I need, and I'm like, what are you talking about? So it's strange. It's strange how your songs, people can find different meanings and different metaphors in your words. And, it's like you could have a soundtrack to your life. You could find a song for every single thing that ever happens. And I love that about music.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's happened to me a couple of times. The last festival I did, which was the summer before last, and it was a great festival. It was down in in Shropshire, and I was actually performing in a church, which was part of the sort of festival thing. It was a lovely atmosphere.
Oh, I love singing in churches. Yeah,
it was beautiful, and they had a sound crew there that knew what to do in a church as well, which is quite unusual. And so I did the gig, and afterwards, Leslie and I were selling some CDs and stuff, and these two women said to me, "Oh, that just made me cry," and I thought, I'm not quite sure that's really the reaction I want.
no.
I don't want to make people feel sad. If they could relate to them, yeah, okay, but I don't actually want you weeping and wailing in front of the stage, really. But it does have a nice, because as you say, there are the common threads in things, and people do identify with what you're talking about, what your experiences are. Well, I suppose it's the same as if you were writing a book which had something that resonated with the reader, then it's the same deal, really. I think hopefully that's what we're all hoping for, maybe, to get that sort of response. And we've got some more messages coming in here. Hang on, what have we got? Let's just see. Linda Ottridge, love the key.
Oh, that's my mum.
That's your mum. Hello, Rosie's mum. Jamie Stewart.
Oh yeah, Jamie Stewart.
Is that not the Hollywood actor? I thought he was dead.
He's a Glossopian, I think.
Glossopian. Andy Iveson, some more applause. And Frank Birtwistle.
I love Frank Birtwistle. He plays guitar without vocals. He just plays like, you've got to find him.
Is he
him on
Glossop
Spotify.
as well?
No, he's not. I've never met him, but I listen to his music, and he plays unaccompanied, guitar pieces.
Yeah.
That have wonderful atmospheres to them. And all of his songs have it. In my head, they have a different, different.
Is it sort of new agey, or is it more folky than?
I'm not sure. Maybe he can put it in the comments. It has that kind of like
Speak to
Spanish
us,
style plucking style, but
like
I don't
flamenco-ish.
Oh, right. No, but not. But it's just, you've got to find him on Spotify. It's lovely music.
I shall do that. Well, I can see he's on Facebook, obviously, because he's listening to us. So that's a good starting point. I shall check it out from there. So, would you like to do us another song? Because I'd like to. I
will.
We've got Michael Rowe now as well saying hello. Michael Rowe.
Aha. Yeah. It's an online gamer friend.
So not only are you homeschooling, looking after two children, running a business, and you're also got time for gaming online, eh?
I don't, and they're all saying, Rosie, come play with us. Come on, like, I can't play on computer games anymore. But I will eventually. So yeah, I'll sing the song that people seem to like. It's a more sort of pop kind of song. So I sang this song. This was like I was in this competition last year, and I got to sing in the O2 in London.
Oh, right.
In front of a lot of people. So that was a good experience. It was really fun. So this was my competition song, and I won a little trophy saying Best Original Song Award. So it's the only trophy I've ever had. So it takes pride on my windowsill. But it was for this song, and this song is called Songbird, and it is a song about my love of singing songs, simply put, and how you don't really need much as long as you have music. I'm happy. So here it is. Everybody's looking for that something they don't have. Something lighter, something finer, something higher in demand. Seems everybody's buying things to make their wrongs feel right. Something to delight her, something to excite her, something to make the time fly by. Oh, but of all my possessions I'd give away, 'cause none have filled the space inside my heart. And even all the empty boxes couldn't hold the love that's pouring out of me right now. Cause I'm a songbird. Yeah, I'm a songbird. I need music, I need chords, and I need harmonies, of course. Cause I'm a songbird. Yeah, I'm a songbird. Just leave the piano and your guitar over our souls. They'll take us far away from here. Seems we're always feeling like we've got it bad. Somehow rougher, somehow tougher, somehow worse off than the past. Oh, so we're always dreaming of another distant land. Somewhere fairer, somewhere greener, somewhere warm with golden sands. Oh, but of all the lands I've traveled around this world, no place has filled the space inside my heart. And even all the lakes and rivers couldn't hold the love that's pouring out of me right now. Cause I'm a songbird. Yeah, I'm a songbird. I need music, I need chords, and I need harmonies, of course. Cause I'm a songbird. Yeah, I'm a songbird. Just leave the piano and your guitar over our souls. They'll take us far away from hero. Cause I'm a songbird. Yeah, I'm a songbird. I need music, I need chords, and I need harmonies, of course, to fly. Oh, oh, oh.
Lovely.
Thank you.
So that's the one that won you your prize.
That's my prize-winning song.
Yeah. As Andy Iveson put up songbird ! Clap, clap, clap.
Yeah.
As soon as you mentioned it. And we've got another message here. Another one from Edmund Nagal. Is it Nagal?
A university friend.
Yeah, love Songbird. And Penelope Fisher. Gorgeous song, Rosie. Do you know, I'm terrible. I still, from a childhood bad experience, I still want to say Penelope when I see that name. I'm sorry, Penelope. Gorgeous song, Rosie. You have such a natural talent. Brilliant.
Oh, thank you, Penelope.
So if people want to hear more from what you've done, we've been putting up the website address and your Facebook. So when can what about your YouTube channel? Is that just
I've got a
Rosie
YouTube
Arnfield
channel.
music?
There's some nice little things on that. You can, if you go to my Facebook page or if you go to rosiearnfield.co.uk, there will be a link to all of my little videos. I've got 2 that are kind of proper videos, and then lots of live recordings from my gig. I think there's one with a cello and a double bass in it as well from that gig that I was telling you about.
Right. Okay.
The last gig I ever had. So yeah, there's some bits and bobs there.
Well, thanks for joining us on the show. Thanks for chatting.
No, thank you.
Fun talking to you. It's very interesting, and it's lovely to hear you. Great voice, great songs. Been an absolute pleasure. So look after yourself, and hope you get time to get some video gaming back in. And
I know.
Keep us posted in terms of what's going on with the album. And look after yourself and stay safe.
And you. Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Thanks. That was great. I enjoyed that. Lovely. So that's it from me from this week. Thanks ever so much to Rosie for joining us in the studio and talking and playing and performing. And that's it. So until next week we've got something slightly different. We've got a pop singer. Now, this guy is Ed Stahl, as all his songs are studio songs, but he writes on a guitar. So he will be playing some of this stuff that is in its virgin state, as it were, before the techno boys get a hold of it. So that'll be interesting. It's a different approach to songs. So a few more messages coming up here. We've got Stephen Morris. Good stuff, guys. Oh, thanks for that, Stephen. And Andy Iveson, can't wait for the album, Rosie. So there you go. So until next week, look after yourselves, stay safe, and be sensible. Okay? Right. See you next week. Bye.